From WPTV News Channel 5, it's Slay Your Day with TA.
Good morning, everyone. It's TA from Taste and See South Florida here at WPTV, and I want to bring in my guest, Suzanne Boyd, formerly of CBS 12 and Fox 29, our sister station. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
So, for those of you who don't know what Suzanne's being up to, it's like everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So I
So,
left.
let's go through the timeline. You left the TV station, and what happened?
Yeah, so I left TV news about almost exactly 2 years ago, and wanted to really produce my own shows. So that was my goal, to start my own production company and start putting out shows that were fun and aligned with, kind of what I wanted to do and what I thought people wanted to see. And so, one of the main shows that I started was with my former co-anchor, Eric Roby,
Right.
called Rise and Live. And that was, first it was a virtual show, and then we got it picked up on TV. And that was about a year's worth of episodes before COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And, we had a live audience, we had a DJ, we had a bar. And so it just, once COVID hit and all that had to go away, it just didn't feel like the same show. Some of our sponsors were dropping off. And so, I made the decision to pause that show until we figured we could bring it back the way it needed to be, the way it was.
The way it was, sure. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
Taste and See South Florida, COVID hit, there was nothing to taste or see. So, we all have to pivot and grow. And I came across a video of yours. You were at the Marquez Resort showing us how fun it is to go there. And so I actually took a vacation there a couple of weeks ago because of your video.
I love that. Yeah. So the staycation with Suze, which is when I went to a Marquez down in Isla Morada, that was an idea that I had after I stopped production on Rise and Live. I said, I want to get out of this house with my kids.
Right.
They were, it was this summer, and I said, I'm going to build a segment around this and see if I can get hotel chains to pay for the production, and let's do this. So that's what I did all summer, was these staycation segments where I went to the Keys and to Naples, and I'm now working with the Hilton West Palm Beach to produce some content for them. So yeah, I'm still running my production company. But then I got called by my dad.
Yes, which let me bring in this video. This is amazing to me. You got called by your dad because you guys own a ranch up in northern Florida, right?
So yeah, this land has been in my family for 7 generations. We've been farming for 7 generations on this land on the North Florida, South Georgia line. And we have cattle, corn, cotton, soybeans, peanuts, sod. You are looking at our cattle in one of our fields. This is some drone video that we took because we are starting a new venture since the pandemic. My dad has decided to pivot the cattle operation. So up until now, our cattle operation has been in the commodities market, which, as we all know, with COVID, the commodities market, the bottom fell out of it. And so what we were doing was selling off our calves, and we would never see them again. They went through 6, 7, 8 steps before they got to your grocery store. And Dad said, now let's do this where we are taking our beef direct to consumer. So everything stays local now. So from the time the calves are born until the time they are harvested, we have our hands either on them or are very involved in that process. And it stays all in Florida, very regional. And so that's how Boyd Farms Fresh was born. I told my dad when I was a kid that I would never come back to North Florida and help him with the farm. It just wasn't my passion.
Never
That's
say
my
never.
Dad. Never say never. And somehow he has talked me back into it. But, I always told Dad, like, if I were to be involved in the operation, we would have to pivot it in a way that felt good to me. And the commercial Cattle business is, it's not a pretty business, to be honest with you. And, this new way of doing things is better for your health. The meat is much better and fresher and healthier. It's better for our cattle because it's humane. They're ethically raised. They're in pastures their whole lives. And it's better for our land because you're not hauling cattle. It's better for the environment. You're not hauling cattle across the country and putting them through multiple different steps before they're harvested.
Well, Grant says farm to table, great business model. Susan says, good for you, Suzanne and family. Miss you though. I will say, Suzanne, even fast food restaurants are realizing the demand for better for you products. I don't know if you've noticed, but even just if you go to Wendy's, they've shifted away from sodas being displayed on their menus to lemonades and teas. They've gone from salads as opposed to fried options. And that's happening across the board. And so now you're doing it here. And how do we get your meat here?
Well, to be honest with you, TA, we were not going to sell in South Florida. The goal was to keep it all local in North Florida because our farm was in North Florida and South Georgia. And we bought this huge refrigerator truck where we are going to be doing meetups. I came up with that name.
You are
That's
a
our
wordsmith, I will say that.
And then my sister-in-law or my brother's fiance came up with the from Armu to you.
To you.
Listen, I'm a sales and marketing and branding girl, so that's never going to change. But so we were going to just stay very local in that region, but I had so many people reaching out to me saying, how can we get your beef? How can we get your beef down here? That I said, Dad, we have got to figure out a South Florida delivery strategy. And, we're driving the meat down here this week. We have probably 15, 20 orders from South Florida just this week. And so we're going to be coming to South Florida as well. We're so new. Our website's not even up yet. But if you go to boydfarmsfresh.com, you can sign up to get on our mailing list. And you can also just email me your order at info@boydfarmsfresh.com. And I can send you a list of what we have. But that's awesome. All of us. That's my dad, his wife, Jeannie, me. People are making fun of me that I'm so South Florida in that outfit. Like they all, they all have the proper like jeans and boots, and I'm wearing like a white denim skirt. I'm like, you can take the girl out of South Florida, but you can't take the South Florida out of the girl.
Right. And your dad's sort of going like, why are we doing this?
That's my brother, David, and his fiance, Kelly, and their dog, Koji. But yeah, so, and my brother David actually lives in California and runs his own ski delivery business. So we're all kind of still doing our other businesses while trying to help Dad on this end. So my brother's going to help with like the operations. I'm going to help with sales and marketing, obviously. And then Dad's on the supply end with the cattle. And that's our actual hamburger beef.
It looks so clean, doesn't it?
It really is. And we had a big farm tour a couple of weekends ago where we launched Boyd Farms Fresh. And I had our burger for the first time. And I'm telling you, it was the best burger I had. You don't have to put anything on it. There was like nothing on it. And you don't need cheese or, ketchup or mayonnaise or any of that. You can just eat it like that. And it is so fresh and delicious. Don't you want a burger now, TA?
Well, since you sent me that photo 2 hours ago, I think that's when I wanted the burger. So yeah, now that it's giant on my screen, I really want a burger. Yeah. So do you think there's going to be a demand for your product from restaurants?
So that's interesting. You say that. I've gotten a couple of calls from restaurant chains that are interested in selling our beef or using our beef. And that is something that we're talking about right now because I don't want this to not be able to come directly to you as well. I mean, it's great that you can go to a restaurant and have our beef, but I also think we need to keep the direct to consumer piece because people want this kind of, they want this healthy meat. And, there's a lot of controversy right now about meat with all these documentaries about why you should go plant-based. And I actually have been trying to go more plant-based, but I really believe that when your beef, your chicken, your pork is raised humanely and ethically and with no antibiotics and no hormones, like it is better for you. And so, I'm a cattle farmer's daughter. I don't know if I'll ever completely go. And now that I'm selling beef, I probably won't go meat free.
Well, you probably saw the news reports from a couple of years ago of some of the cattle being treated inhumanely throughout Florida. Can you assure everybody that your cattle are treated
Yeah,
well?
so that was a big thing for me. And to be honest with you, it was a big thing for my dad and his wife. They actually did a cross-country trip during COVID to go see my brother out in California because they couldn't fly or didn't want to fly. And so they went through Texas and Arkansas and some of these places where they have these feedlots, and it's awful. And they saw what was happening to our cattle when they left our farm. And it's not pretty. And, that was the big thing. Like the industrial and the commercial cattle business is not okay. And so what we do is we take our cattle to a place in Chiefland where they feed them on pastures, they feed them out, and then they're harvested in a facility just south of there. We know all the people. And then we pick up our meat that's already processed, and then we deliver it. So we see every step of the way. I think eventually we'll get to the point where we're the ones feeding out our cattle and we're the ones harvesting our cattle. But right now there's just, there's a lot of steps that have to happen before that happens, but it's all regional. It's all people that my dad have known for many, many years, many decades. And we see their operations firsthand.
I'm getting this question a lot. So if we could iterate it one more time from Linda, where can you buy the meat?
So Linda, right now you can buy it by just emailing us info@boydfarmsfresh.com, and I can send you what cuts we have and the price list. Eventually you will be able to go to our website, boydfarmsfresh.com. It is not up and running yet, our website. You can go on there and just sign up for our mailing list. But eventually, probably in the next week and a half, we will have a store on our website where you can go and order right from our website, whatever cuts you want. But right now we have ground beef. I mean, we're running like a ground beef special. It's you buy 20 pounds, you get $1 off per pound. That comes out to like $3.99 a pound. You don't pay that in Publix. And our stuff is 10 times better than what you're going to get in the grocery store. So I can send you a list, but literally we're so new. We don't have everything up and running yet. We just got our first supply of meat and we will be getting it every week. So you just email me info@boydfarmsfresh.com and I'll send you whatever you need.
So this is new. You're just getting set up. You're just getting started.
Literally just launched a week and a half ago.
I find it so interesting, all these businesses that are pivoting, as we've said several times off air and on air, to come to the realization of what they have to do to be profitable after the quarantine and now through the pandemic.
Yeah. It's, and Dad, we've been talking about this with Dad, I think or his wife has been really trying to push him, because we also, so my dad and, Jeannie got married about 5 years ago. Jeannie, is from a family, the Schmo family, and they were farming right next to our farm, Boyd Farms, for many, many years. And Jeannie's son came home from New York and started his own pasture-raised chicken farm. They have pasture-raised chickens, poultry, and eggs, forested hogs, pigs that are in the forest, and they are raising them, and they started their own schmo farm. So we have a lot of people around us that are doing very similar to what we're doing, and they've been doing it for years now. So we're able to learn from them. But yeah, I think this is happening for not just the farming industry, but especially the farming industry. Many industries are having to pivot because of COVID, you know? And it's what people want. I mean, it's, people want to know where their food is coming from.
Absolutely.
When you can look my dad in the eye and he can tell you how these cattle are raised. And, my dad is out in the cattle fields every single night, hand feeding them. Like my dad, these are his, these are, I don't want to say pets because they're not his pets, but that, he has a connection to the cattle. He has a connection to the land. So I think that's what makes a difference. Doesn't he look so cute in his Boyd Farms Fresh marketing outfit that I made him wear?
He's like, yes, I just got to do this. They're just not going to stop, right?
Right. So this is, we did a farm tour where we had people come and we gave hay rides and we cooked up burgers and we had a bluegrass band. And so that's my dad on one of the hay rides. He was giving hay ride tours of the pastures and telling people about the whole process and how it worked. So he did about 12 of those each day. He was exhausted by the end of the day.
That's a lot of talking. Do you think there'll be any ramifications from cutting out the middlemen in the process to get the meat to the consumer?
Any ramifications for us?
No, maybe for like the industry.
It's funny. I think so. I mean, I think it'll be harder for you to get good quality meat at a decent price in your grocery store, because if all these cattle farmers, and my dad was part of the commercial cattle operation, and he has now none of his cows are going into this process. And I know a lot of cattle ranchers that are doing that. They're all staying local now. So I think it's going to be more difficult for maybe the major grocery chains. I don't know. I mean, my dad would probably have the answer to that, but I would think that it's probably going to hurt that industrial operation, which I don't think is such a bad thing,
Suzanne, is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to add?
Oh gosh, I don't know. How old I am?
How old are you?
47.
43.
Oh, yay, high five.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Slay Your Day can be found in the WPTV app on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Plus on the Taste and See South Florida Facebook page and the WPTV free mobile app. Okay.